Hey, what's up? This is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel, Who's Ready for Some Fighting Words. In this video, I want to do a fight breakdown for Sam Goodman versus Mark Schleibs. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time, subscribe to the channel, and tell a friend. Circulate these videos. Also, if you could, hit the thumbs up button. It does help, it does show love, and it does support the channel. So without further ado, let me explain how I basically run down my fight breakdowns. So I just put both guys side by side. I run down a list of attributes, and basically whoever has more points in the end, that's the individual that I'm going to pick for the fight. And without further ado, let's jump into it. I'm going to start off with speed. Who's the faster guy? By far, Sam Goodman. I think Mark Schleibs is not a slouch in terms of the speed department. But when you're talking about like a 4 or 5 punch combination, Sam Goodman can do that. When you're talking about just movement, Sam Goodman can do that. I think he's a total package when it comes to movement. And his speed, he's right on with it. So I got to give it to him. When it comes to speed, Sam Goodman. Counter punching. Who's the better counter puncher? Sam Goodman. Honestly, he's a counter puncher at heart, but he knows how to lead the dance. And that just shows a lot of his versatility in the fight, because he's not a one-dimensional fighter. And it's not, well, I'm just going to wait for you to mess up and then I'm going to do something. No, he knows how to lead. He knows how to throw that, pump the jab out. He knows what to do to get you in the right position so that you could mess up. And he's going to give you the room for error. And then he's going to take full advantage of it. Sam Goodman when it comes to counterpunching. Mentally tough. Who's more mentally tough? Who's got more mental toughness between Sam Goodman and Mark Schleibs? So when you're looking at the press conference, you would clearly think that it's Mark Schleibs. Now, he really believes in himself. And I think that's due to the fact that he hits hard. Most heavy-handed guys all have this perception like, worst case scenario, I'll just throw a big punch and it'll all be over. That's true if you can actually hit the target. But that is true because it's an ever-present danger during the fight. So that is true. I'll give him that. But he's got losses. He's been knocked out. I look at Sam Goodman. He's a complete package. So I do feel like during the press conference, Mark Schleibs does know how to get under the skin of Sam Goodman. And that could just simply be his personality. I mean, quite frankly, some people are more introverted and some people are more extroverted. And I think in terms of, being extroverted, I just feel like Mark Schleibs is a very extroverted guy where he doesn't mind being boastful. He doesn't mind being cocky. And I don't mind cockiness, quite frankly, because I feel like in this sport, you have to be cocky. You have to believe in yourself because there's a whole, so many people who are not going to believe in you. So I don't mind that. But technically, just to be fair, to keep with consistency with the channel, I would say Sam Goodman is by far more mentally tough than Mark Schleibs, simply because he's undefeated. So, simply because of that. But, like I said, you look at the press conference, and I don't know if it's Mark Schleibs' game plan. Maybe if I get under his skin, then he'll slack off or something in the fight, or he'll be so angry he just wants to knock me out. He'll make some errors. If that's what you're banking on, Sam Goodman is more of a defensive-minded guy, so I doubt that. But if you just want to make, for a fun press conference, well, then sure. But I still got to give it to Sam Goodman. I think he has a much better record, so there you go. I don't think. He has a much better record, so there you go. Boxing IQ, Sam Goodman. Sam Goodman. You look at everything he does. He's a complete fighter. He's a thinking fighter. He's not just a get in there and throw your hands around type of fighter. No, he's going to test the waters. He's going to thoroughly assess who he's in there with while he's in there with them. And he's going to make adjustments. Boxing IQ goes to him. When I look at Mark Schleibs, I just look at somebody who's just looking to land a big punch. Granted, at the end of the day, I guess that's what every fighter is trying to do, but it's the set up. You have to set these things up. They don't just magically appear. That's the reason why Deontay Wilder can have a knockout in the first round and have a knockout in the 8th round, because he is working towards a goal to set something up. And Mark Schleibs, I'm not always sure he's working on a goal. I just think sometimes he's just reacting, to be honest, to what's going on in there. And when it comes to boxing IQ, I got to give it to Sam Goodman. Defense, who is better defense? Sam Goodman. Better footwork, better usage of his hands. He has multiple ways to defend himself. He's big on slapping his opponents. Just pawing it away. When an opponent throws a punch at him, he'll just paw it. So why? Because he can stay in position. Why? Because number one, it does keep your hands loose. Why? Because he can counter from there. Again, he's thinking. He's a thinking fighter, and he's just head movement, foot placement. He's defensively. He's just. I don't want to call him a genius, but if he continues on the route that he's going, he might end up in that genius territory. So Sam Goodman, when it comes to defense, cardio. Well, here's the thing. Neither one of these guys are overly busy. So their stamina in the fight is going to last long because they're not overly busy. But I feel like Mark Schleibs puts 110% in like every punch that he throws, and therefore, he's going to get tired a little quicker. Not to mention, he's not the most crisp guy in the world to begin with. But after rounds of throwing heavy-handed shots, well, he's going to get a little sloppy. While you look at Sam Goodman, his technique does not fade at all. Like, his technique doesn't fade. The only thing I would give him a slight on would be his temperament. He'll take the fight where sometimes he can be led places. And that could be a little, scary, especially dealing with Mark Schleibs because he does hit hard. And he would prefer a fight and bang it out as opposed to a calculated chess match. Let's see. Footwork. Sam Goodman. I mean, come on, Sam Goodman. It's not even debatable, questionable. And I don't really think, if you know anything about either one of these guys, I really need to delve into this. Sam Goodman is just as defensive with his legs as he is with his hands, with his head movement. Sam Goodman, he can dance circles, and he's always in perfect placement. He's always balanced. Sam Goodman. Jab. Who was the better jab? Honestly, I'm gonna give this one a tie. Mark Schleibs is no slouch when it comes to his jab. He has very long arms, and like I say, he's got that pop, and he's got a thing where it's never back here. It's already right here, and like I say, he's got those long arms, and he's very fluid with his punches. I'll give him that. While you look at Sam Goodman, he's very snappy with his punches. Again, he's a very crisp guy, so he's always thinking defensive minded. I need to keep my defenses up, but I also need to throw this jab. But to give, I guess, a bit of an edge to Sam Goodman, I would say he's more consistent with his jab. However, I will say from time to time, Mark Schleibs will triple up on that jab. So either way, I give it a tie. So let's see, what's next? Creativity. Sam Goodman, like I already said, he can fight you with his legs and probably still beat you. Great defensive fighter, but great offensive fighter. Great combinations. Sam Goodman, hands down. Durability. I'm going to give this to Mark Schleibs only because he's been knocked down several times in a round, and he's managed to get back to his feet and fight on. And mind you, he didn't win that fight, but nonetheless, it was impressive that he dug deep within himself and he got back to his feet. Sam Goodman hasn't necessarily had to go through such struggles, so I'm not saying he doesn't have it in him, because he has been cracked. So I'm not saying he doesn't have it in him, and he's also has been cut. So matter of fact, I'm going to change it on the spot. I'm going to call it a tie, because Sam Goodman has been cut, and I don't know how familiar anybody is with being cut, but you run the risk of the fight getting stopped, or you just have never seen your own blood before and you kind of freak out. There's a famous piece of a fight where Floyd was bleeding, and he just never saw his blood before, and it was flipping out that he was bleeding, and it is kind of I'm bleeding, like I could watch somebody else bleed, but I don't want to bleed, and that could simply be it. But Sam Goodman, he fought through it, he fought through the cut, and he continued to press on, and he won the fight. So I got to give it a tie. I'm thinking about that now, and I'm just going to give that one a tie. Combinations. Sam Goodman, I just said that. Sam Goodman. Like I said, defensive, offensive, Sam Goodman. He can throw a 4 or 5 punch combination, and he can connect with all 4 or 5 punches. Sam Goodman. Let's see. Body work, I'm going to give that one a tie as well. I think Mark Schleibs has more of a banger mentality. Um, Sam Goodman is a solid body puncher. He's not an overly committed body puncher, but he's a good body puncher because he knows how to place perfect shots. So I'm going to have to give that one a tie. Let's see. Gears. This one's a new category, gears / levels. So can you take your game to a new level in the fight? Say you get cut. Say you've been put down. Can you go to another gear, another level in order to stay competitive or actually win the fight? Sam Goodman. I can say he's been cut, but on top of that, Sam Goodman, he's just a better all-around fighter. Sam Goodman. There's a reason why he's ranked #1. Sam Goodman. Let's see. Power. Who's got more power? Mark Schleibs. He's got more power. This is the one thing he brings into this fight. The fear factor of being knocked out. Mark Schleibs has more power than Sam Goodman with a one-punch knockout. Power. We got to give it to him. It's Mark Schleibs. Not saying that Sam Goodman can't crack, but he can knock a guy out one punch. He's not doing that, and nobody's in fear of him to do that. So you got to give it to him, Mark Schleibs. My favorite category, danger. Who's more dangerous in a fight? Is it Mark Schleibs or is it Sam Goodman? Mark Schleibs, like I said, one-punch knockout power. Anybody who possesses that is always dangerous. I don't care if they're hurt. I don't care if they've been down. I don't care if they're down on points. It doesn't matter. All it takes is one of these. Like Deontay Wilder said, bam, baby, good night. That's all it takes. Just one. One perfectly placed shot. And to be honest with you, depending on how hard you hit, it doesn't even have to be perfectly placed to get the guy out of there. So I got to give it to Mark Schleibs. But overall, I have Sam Goodman winning on my scorecard here. I just think Mark Schleibs is very basic in his approach, quite frankly. I think from time to time, he looks very novice-like. His head is straight up in the air. He's a single shot type of puncher. No head movement either. His chin is very questionable. He's been knocked out. He doesn't have half the footwork of Sam Goodman. If Sam Goodman just stays on the outside and just picks him off, quite frankly, I think this could be a very easy night. I don't see any reason why he's going to have overly, a lot of trouble with Mark Schleibs. Like I said, Mark Schleibs does hit hard, so I get it. And you need to be conscious and mindful of that. And maybe instead of throwing, 4 or 5 punch combinations, maybe throw punches in, 2s and 3s. And then take them to the deep water. And then, introduce them to some more things. But use your speed, use your footwork, and mix it up. That's all I would say. I would tell Sam Goodman, do what you do best, and don't get caught up in a fight. That's it. Box his head off, and everything should be good for you. I don't see any reason why he can't make, a unanimous decision over Mark Schleibs, quite frankly. So there you have it. I'm picking Sam Goodman to beat Mark Schleibs. I think it's a unanimous decision. I don't necessarily think it's a knockout. And if it were to be a knockout or something like that, I would just give it a TKO. But I think he's just going to give him a boxing lesson